Hello, I'm Walter Cronkite. IBM has asked me to help walk you through a series of major announcements today, February 9th, concerning IBM System390, with the theme, Serving New Expectations. IBM today is unveiling 18 new mainframe processors, 8 air-cooled and 10 water-cooled. A few customers received early shipment of the processors. A major hospital in the South has been test driving an air-cooled model, and a large Midwest manufacturer is using a water-cooled unit. Well, what do customers think of their new mainframes? Our report begins in Augusta, Georgia.
A consuming challenge in healthcare, managing information, controlling costs, and still providing the best in medical treatment. In Augusta, Georgia, University Hospital is using cutting-edge technology to meet this challenge.
We plan to integrate all of our patient care services into one information system so that information about a patient, the total medical record, physiologic monitoring, laboratory x-ray data, and business data are all integrated into one system, readily available to a physician 24 hours a day.
To meet their aggressive goal meant an increase in processing power. The solution was one of the new air-cooled ES9000 processors, the 9121 Model 621.
One decision that contributed to replacing the old processor with the new processor would be environmental issues as well as space. Machine room floor space is quite expensive, and we were running out of floor space. By replacing the old processor in its entirety, we were able to bring in a new processor that probably requires only 1/3 of the cooling and power requirements of the old processor.
Along with a reduced footprint and more price performance, the 9121 offered the hospital an opportunity to proceed fully into imaging.
One application that's somewhat new to us and exploits new technology that healthcare is dealing with is the imaging application. The product we use is IBM's Image Plus, and with that we are adopting an enterprise solution for centralizing the storage of primarily paper documents on our mainframe.
Data compression will tremendously help in the image area. The digitizing of images takes a lot of disk space. That's, even though it's cheaper now, that's still expensive, and that's the biggest growing area in our machine room. So if we can store more data on a disk, then we save money ultimately.
A major benefit of the new models of the 9121 is an ability to provide increased isolation of application software, thereby increasing availability to online systems.
Now with the addition of the additional CISS ESA protection, we're now able to protect the CISS code from application code and look forward to some additional support that will be there to make the application code themselves more stable.
In the healthcare arena and patient care, we cannot have long periods of downtime. Patient care takes us into the lives of the patient. And so that means that our hardware has to stay up and has to be available 24 hours a day.
It's been our goal since 1970 to have a medical record online. Well, we haven't gotten there yet, but I think with the imaging system, with new processor, with improved communications, I think we'll get there much faster.
Caterpillar Corporation in Peoria, Illinois, faces similar needs for 24-hour availability, but on a much grander scale. This data center is the central processing hub for their worldwide network, encompassing 23 out of 24 time zones and more than 62 countries. It's one of the 10 biggest data centers in the country. But in late '92, processing capacity began to reach its limit.
What we did then was look primarily at IBM's new processor, and we looked at some competitive offerings as well. Ended up IBM's deal was one that gave us the kind of capacity increase that we wanted, the performance increase that we wanted, the technology that we wanted, and gave it to us at a price that we thought was fair.
Caterpillar upgraded their 900 to a Model 982, a new water-cooled 8-way processor, currently the world's most powerful single-image commercial processor.
We're seeing that the cost of storing data is much less expensive on the mainframe, and we're able to transfer and manipulate that data much better on the mainframe.
The 982 allows Caterpillar several new features, including data compression, increasing DASD efficiency and improving response time, and asynchronous data mover facility, which efficiently moves large amounts of data between central and expanded storage. For Caterpillar, the need for reliable online performance is both a bottom-line concern and a reputation issue.
We've got parts operations where we offer various programs, but for example, one program might be if you order a part and we can't get it to you in 24 hours or 48 hours, you get the part free. So we've got some dollars involved, plus our reputation, and we don't pay out very many of those kind of deals because we are able to get the parts to the customer. And this is the customers that are sitting out in the mountains of Alaska or in India someplace. It could be a long way away. We're still able to get the parts there. So reliability is very important to us. We've had no reliability problems with it. We haven't even known that we've installed anything, except as we look at our reports, we got very good results. So we're tickled to death with the way it worked.
In its announcements today, IBM said it is so confident the new mainframe processors will provide faster performance for the dollar that the company is introducing a new satisfaction guarantee. The announcement says, and I quote, "If our customer is not satisfied with the quality and reliability of an ES9000 processor installed on or after February 9, 1993, at the customer's request, IBM will replace a qualifying ES9000 machine or model upgrade with the same model or model upgrade, respectively, for a period of 1 year from initial installation." End of quote. In other words, a 1-year guarantee. The road leading to the development of today's advanced new processors winds back through much of the 20th century. A look now down the road to where it all began.
Early on, the women and men at IBM had a clear vision of the future.
Electronics is helping reduce to a minimum the human effort required for rapid assimilation and processing of information.
In the 40s, information was processed with computers run by vacuum tubes. They were soon replaced by state-of-the-art transistors, a mere 1/200th of their size. By the end of the 50s, disk storage added a new dimension to data processing, and an ingenious age of innovation had begun. The journey of the post-war era saw rapid changes in communications and science. There was unbridled optimism as we were introduced to new frontiers. In 1964, IBM soared to new heights in the evolution of mainframe technology, heralding in the System390.
This begins a new generation of computers and a new generation of the way computers are applied in government, in industry, and in science.
The System390 was the first large family of computers to use the same software and peripheral equipment. Solid logic technology enabled the 360 to run up to a then unheard of 2.5 million instructions per second, allowing for high-speed batch processing.
President Nixon will be boarding Air Force One for the last time.
Millions of Americans mark the 200th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence in big cities and small towns.
This is a CBS News special report, the signing of the peace treaty between Israel and Egypt.
With the 70s came an increased demand for access to the computer system. IBM responded with the System390. The buzzword was time-sharing. Major gains in speed, capacity, and reliability permitted customers to increase users to tens of thousands. By decade's end, magnetic core memories were rendered obsolete by quarter-inch 64,000-bit silicon chips, and advanced storage technology provided the capability to immediately update the flow of information.
3, 2, 1, 0.
The 80s launched an era of personal computing. High-tech was rampant and the PC had become a reality. It was no longer business as usual. Large-scale integration technology paved the way for cost-effective transaction processing, enabling a variety of customers to use terminals miles from the mainframe. Thermal conduction modules made for even denser, faster, more reliable logic technology. Productivity rose, costs fell, and computers became a vital part of everyday life. In the 90s, the global community is ever more dependent on rapid communications and instant access. With the introduction of the System390, mainframes ceased to be merely boxes of silicon and steel. They have evolved into advanced integrated systems, resolving customers' complex computing problems of today. Boasting multi-megabyte chips, disk storage, optical storage, enlarged processor memories, and SCON, the System390 computing network with client-server capabilities has evolved into a new species of mainframe. Today, IBM is an international company operating in 140 countries, bringing new concepts of change to the mainframe and to the computing industry. While some skeptics regard it as a dinosaur soon to be extinct, we respectfully disagree. For as Mark Twain once said,
"The reports of my death have been greatly exaggerated."
The mainframe, then and now. A relic of the past or the wave of the future? With me now is Nick D'Onofrio, the chief of IBM's mainframe division. Mr. D'Onofrio, with all the rapid changes in the technology today, is the mainframe obsolete?
Not at all, Mr. Cronkite. It clearly is in transition, and it clearly is transforming itself, but hardly obsolete. It is transforming itself just as rapidly as the information technology industry is transforming itself into an open, client-server, distributed compute element in this phenomenally fast-changing paradigm. Now, we are very busy aiding and abetting that large system mainframe in its transition. However, we're going to do that without forgetting and without forsaking the very strengths that have made the mainframe business as successful as it has been and I predict will continue to be.
But what about the charge of critics that IBM's charging too much for their mainframes?
It really depends on your perspective. The total cost of computing, Mr. Cronkite, is what our customers are really interested in. The total cost of computing, not just the cost of the platform, albeit a mainframe or some other type of platform. And when you consider that, when you consider the services, the support, the ongoing costs required to support that solution, I'd submit to you that those mainframes, as costly as you might think they are, actually turn out to be the cost-competitive computing alternative in many of our customers' large problems.
But all the talk today, all the excitement, all the press is about the personal computer, the desktops. How do you get them interested again in mainframes?
Well, fact of the matter is, real people who do real computing do it because of the attributes and the strengths of mainframe computing: availability, reliability, and the ability to manage large, complex problems. Our new product announcement is going to bring not only improved performance to our customers, allow them to solve more complex problems, consolidate their centers, and address those large problem needs. It's going to allow them to do some exciting things that they couldn't do before. Clearly, the function that we're going to be delivering allows people, for instance, to take their large problems and store it in less space through algorithms called compression. that in some cases can give people as much as a 2-to-1 reduction in their storage requirements. We have additional functions that will allow us to improve the ability in 1 second to get significantly more transactions done for certain type of access to databases on the mainframe. And we are constantly working on improving the availability and the manageability of our large system offerings by giving our customers more flexibility to keep those systems up all the time. And lastly, and certainly not least, we are continuing to shape ourselves in the mold of the new paradigm. Open, client-server, parallel. After all, we've got a history of being parallel people in large systems. We have the ability to put together now 8 processors acting as one compute element. We are going to take those skills, those abilities, and take those 8 processors onward and upward to begin to capture this truly parallel world that is coming at us.
So I guess it doesn't surprise me to think that you believe the business is going up.
Well, I think it's a good business, sir. I don't think that in the short haul it's going to be a rising business, but in the long haul it continues to be an outstanding business. This business has been profitable for a very long period of time in IBM's history. It is profitable now, and it is my absolute commitment to the people who work with us on this particular platform to keep it profitable well on into the next century. And we're going to make this compute platform even more empowering so that more of the entire world can continue to run itself off of large systems, albeit as servers, in this open, distributed world.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much.
India, Bravo, Mike, and Alpha.
Advanced strategic intelligence means accurate information to analyze yours and your adversary's technology, strengths, and capacity. I'm General Tom Kelly. As Director of Operations for the Joint Chiefs of Staff, I relied on those accurate technology assessments. These days, there's a lot of technology changing hands. Figuring out how it might get used and how it will perform in an uncertain future is the role of advanced strategic intelligence. Now IBM offers advanced strategic intelligence on mainframes. Accurate information to analyze the performance and capacity of IBM machines and the competition. LSPR, IBM's large system performance reference, lets you, the customer, accurately measure your future mainframe capacity benchmarked against your individual workload projections. Batch, online transactions, engineering, and scientific. IBM has had LSPR, Advanced Strategic Intelligence, on mainframes for years. But until now, it's been confidential. Now it's available to you.
From India, Bravo, Mike.
Call your IBM representative to get it. You can't afford not to.
Bravo, Mike. Identifier, Lima, Sierra, Papa, Romeo. From India, Bravo, Mike.
Under the best of conditions, the mainframes that protect client-server networks perform a crucial and demanding role in data recovery and backing up networks. But what about the times that the job is done under the worst conditions? A report now on that.
We have a 70 to 75 mile an hour driving wind that has hit Boca Raton, Florida.
Now here at 6 in the morning Eastern time, the wind is about 100 miles per hour, and it is a very dangerous situation.
When that eye of the storm comes over, do not go outside. It is not over. You've still got the whole backside of the hurricane.
Nature's fury, a major disaster destroying computer equipment, networks, and data is the ultimate information age nightmare. Protecting that data and those networks is critical. The University of Miami Medical School stores vital data for hospitals across the state.
There's large requirements of imaging from radiology and some of the other fields that transmit a lot of that information we house. Is extremely important to us that the data is secure. Now, some of them are extremely critical dealing with human lives.
As the nation's most costly natural disaster ripped across South Florida, the university activated its well-planned disaster recovery program. The mainframes that power and protect critical client-server networks and databases that pump information up and down the spine of the Americas were backed up.
And it worked. It worked. The communication stayed up the whole time. Our switches were up the whole time.
The storm itself ended at 6 a.m. Monday morning, and I guess we began running late Wednesday, early Thursday, the payroll. Psychologically, it was one of the most important things we were able to do. And over 400 of our university family lost their homes. Actually, were not living in their homes after the storm, were unable to live in their homes.
The chief of the Department of Psychiatry at the university said that it had the greatest effect to have that paycheck in their hand when they needed that money, when they had to go out and buy wood from Home Depot, or they had to do everything that they needed to do to start the recovery process, had the greatest psychological benefit of anything that the university could have done.
The University of Miami is one of the country's premier research institutions, ranking 39th among all American universities in research grants. With so many projects, Miami had data that was not backed up, scattered around thousands of client PCs across hundreds of networks. With Andrew approaching, the giant server mainframe had to be protected.
Florida Power and Light reports 600,000 customers, that's homes and businesses, are still without electricity.
We came back up through our networks. We went up to other cities within the state, and we did the direct deposit on time.
In the Midwest, where tornadoes strike without warning, Central Life secures masses of PC and LAN data on the mainframe.
We've had experience with trying to back up large amounts of data using a LAN environment. We found that you could not back up a day's data in a day. As a matter of fact, in some cases, you couldn't back it up in a week.
We had to know how to take gigabytes of information, put it on tape, take it off site, and manage that. On the mainframe side, we really had a pretty good idea on how to do that. In the PC environment, people didn't know how to do that kind of stuff.
That's another area where I believe that the PC and LAN technology is many steps behind the mainframe technology.
It occurred without warning. The tornado ripped through the town, destroying everything in its path, knocking out power and communications.
Whenever we have a power failure, you can see the impact of information processing on our business. It just virtually grinds to a halt.
We try to keep things up 99.5% availability. Our service agreements are set at 98%, and we've always exceeded those. In the past year, since we have been doing PC-type applications, the availability has gone down.
Client-server computing may be a buzzword, but managing, protecting, and integrating multiple LANs is a buzzsaw that can chew up downsized PC servers.
Network administration and management and security in the PC environment is a big concern to us today. And what's going to make that work is to be able for that systems administrator to reach out to all the networks from the home office and administer those networks.
The LAN and mainframe technologies have to be intertwined if you're going to succeed as a business, as a university, as an entity. The important part of it is that you can work with the LAN to serve some of the needs of the people, and you can work with the mainframe to serve the rest of the needs. And the LAN can access the mainframe for whatever it needs for large database translations or transaction processing.
The North-South Center at the University of Miami is the preeminent information hub on inter-American affairs, commercial, educational, and political. It's a vital international resource for the scholar in Buenos Aires or the exporter in Boca Raton.
That's where we carry on some of the international work to other universities down to Ecuador. We have 3 universities down there, and we have a Brazilian internet node. And the key to all of this is the management, the network management. In our case, we have deployed NetView, and we have interfaced NetView with our LAN managers.
Looks like we have a net builder down going to NSD.
NetView allows me to be able to take care of the problems even before the problems show up
in the user's environment. And that is all done through our mainframe. So the mainframe right there is even a network manager.
I don't think anybody in their right mind thinks a mainframe is going out of business in terms of a large server and transaction processing. And it'll be here. And if it's not a 9021, it'll be a 9097 or whatever the next number is. But we will have a large database server for the rest of probably my life on this planet.
One of the computer buzzwords, or should I say buzz phrases of the 90s, is open systems, being able to use, say, IBM products with products from other manufacturers. In our next report, we take a closer look at that concept and see how it means different things to different people.
We had systems running on different platforms, different vendors, and our challenge really today is try to bring all that together into one cohesive system.
Open systems would be a vendor-neutral environment.
Be able to integrate all our different systems to get away from proprietary.
We need an overall system architecture with a single management image.
The heart of the issue for us is protecting the investment, and the way we believe we can do that is by being consistent with an international set of standards.
IBM platforms, not only on the mainframe but on the workstations, have incorporated products that are consistent with other vendors' products, offering things such as languages, compilers, database access methods, and now embracing other system interfaces to make the products consistent in a heterogeneous environment, making all the platforms meet the customer requirements.
With the phenomenon of downsizing or right-sizing, for example, many applications are moving off of the host, but many other applications will stay. And our type of solution allows these legacy systems to not just participate in open systems, but participate fully and be a full contributor in that environment, so that we don't view VSE or any mainframe operating system as a dying beast. We view it as a beast that is changing to meet other requirements of the marketplace today.
Working to solve customers' problems. Customers are looking for ways that multiple vendors can communicate cohesively in an enterprise network, and so we're trying to provide solutions that'll participate in that environment, be it open, be it client server, but something that's going to meet their needs.
Open Edition MVS is a connotation that we're using with the operating system to help denote that there are a set of standards, be they formal standards or de facto standards, or even requirements by special bodies such as NIST, the National Institute of Standards and Technology, that they require in order to meet their needs. And so we use the term Open Edition to help the customer to perceive, to help the customer to identify what standards we provide. And we commit to document those in our materials so that they can clearly see what things they can depend on being within our product. Open Edition MVS provides a set of services initially which meet the POSIX .1 and POSIX .2 standards, as well as the NIST FIPS 151.
Strategy is really to address 4 areas in open and distributed computing, at least on MVS. And it's to enable client-server technologies for interoperability between systems. It's to provide transparent access to our existing services in the areas of database and transaction processing facilities. It's to enable application portability across multiple vendor systems. And it's to provide for system management facilities that improve on the overall system management of a heterogeneous distributed operating system.
Yes, IBM is open for business.
Today's announcements include a great deal of highly technical information, of course. But behind all of that complex data are some simple truths. One of these truths is that people want to and must communicate with each other. From paintings on the walls of caves to talk of giant electronic superhighways, the goal has been communication. In our final report, we see and hear the sights and sounds of the multimedia world of communications.
Firdez Uselton is from Cyprus, where her grandmother taught her how to cook grape leaves.
This is supposed to be the front of it, and this is the
expect. This is what we feel.
When Firdes invites friends, in this case her college professor and classmates, over for a Saturday afternoon, she displays her traditional values and she chooses traditional music. But this is far from a traditional group of young people. They are untraditional in that what they do is help to create interactive multimedia courses for Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute in Troy, New York.
And the Action Media Card allows us to store full motion video while the
Professor Jack Wilson has been attracting international recognition for his visions about creating and sharing interactive computer-based courses, first among Rensselaer students, then between one university and another, eventually worldwide. Wilson says there is only one way to achieve the capacity and storage needed for such a plan.
You're going to want to use multimedia software, text materials, hypermedia, hyperlinked text, so that you can jump from one place to another. And the ability to maintain that on the server and deliver it anywhere in the world is going to be the key to making this, what we call it distributed interactive learning. So this will be the key to making distributed interactive learning work.
It is a large vision, and in the eyes of a student, the creative possibilities are endless.
I was thinking multimedia being on the mainframe would mean almost anybody who has a computer, a modem, could connect from home, from their offices, and see that material. And the nice thing about that is you don't have to be confined at school in a location, and it's your time. You choose the time, you can connect, and you can learn all these things.
In its maximum deformation. Put a point there, and another point, and another X, Y, and T. You see X, Y, and T appear in the data table.
Students say full-motion video, like this view of the collapse of the Tacoma Narrows Bridge, helps them grasp physics in a new way, where actual video can become another source of data for teams of students in the laboratory.
In a regional approach to multimedia servers, you will want the ES9000 here at Rensselaer to talk to ES9000s and other sites to be able to exchange the multimedia information to make it available in all areas. That is under a lot of study by our Information Technology Services, and although we haven't done it yet, it's clearly in our plans for the future.
Competition for information services will be fierce, and computer engineering student Keith Carter is one of those who like to relax by regressing to a time centuries ago when students settled their intellectual differences once and for all. But Keith, who's a member of the Society for Creative Anachronisms, has a very futuristic outlook when it comes to multimedia and the mainframe computer.
By using a mainframe to have all this information on it, we'll be able to have students from different colleges in different parts of the world access this information while they're learning their physics courses.
Multimedia on the mainframe. Students may be leading this new revolution, but Rensselaer's Robert Gallagher, director of the school's Information Technical Services, says teachers with years of experience are now embracing the concept.
Some experienced scholars, faculty members, through the use of multimedia and visualization, have understood concepts better that they've been teaching for 10 years and didn't quite fully understand. I'm not sure they'd all want to be willing to admit that, but...
Rensselaer's William Jennings, the director of continuing education, sees no less than a rebirth of the mainframe.
What a mainframe happens to have is a very good, fast, high-volume I/O bus. Well, that's just ideal for serving large amounts of high-bandwidth information like multimedia. So it's an ideal application of a technology that was developed for something else.
The alternative to this is hard to imagine, of how you would make this material available everywhere. It would certainly be much more expensive than the solution of using the network and the mainframe to distribute the material, because it would be people intensive. We would have to hire people to maintain each of these classrooms, to make sure that the right things were on the local server or on the local systems, or even delivering video discs, CD-ROMs, and so on. So the mainframe, I think, is the thing that's going to make the difference. Without the mainframe, in a large university, it's going to be very difficult to administer the multimedia. But with the mainframe, I think that it will be economically very efficient, at least the initial numbers look really good, and it's going to be educationally very effective because they'll be so widely available.
Revering the past and looking to the future, these students look to a time when interactive knowledge is shared almost instantaneously. Their vision includes an ES9000, a machine uniquely suited for the limitless classroom of the future.
Like those Rensselaer students, we've tried to look both to the past and future to understand better the technology unveiled here today. This concludes the overview of the System 390 announcement entitled Serving New Expectations. And now, a few short, painless scheduling notes I've been asked to pass on to you. Following this program will be 4 more programs, each of which discusses in more detail some of the topics that you have just seen. The first one covers the ES9000 processors. The second is about client-server as it pertains to data storage, recovery, and management, and its role in networks. The third features client-server and multimedia, and the fourth is about open systems featuring customers' comments. If you'd like a copy of any of these programs, IBM asks that you drop a line. The address is System 390 Media Marketing, Department 6TN, 44 South Broadway, White Plains, New York, 10601. And finally, this reminder from IBM, the next edition of System 390 magazine will air on March 16th. I'm Walter Cronkite reporting on the System 390 announcement. Thanks for joining us, and goodbye.